Hey gamers, if you're a fan of action roguelike games, then you've come to the right place. In this video, I'll be showing you the top 40 co-op action roguelike that you can play right now. Please note that the action roguelike games listed here are all officially released, no early access stuff here. And some of you may disagree with the ranking, that's okay. We all have our own opinions. But before we go into the list, let's hear a quick word from our sponsor. If you're looking for a co-op action roguelike game to play with your friends, then our sponsor's game is what you need. Allow me to introduce you to this awesome game, LORT. LORT is an upcoming co-op action roguelike to be released in Q4 2025. In this game, you can team up solo or with up to 8 friends in co-op mode to take down enemies together as a squad. And honestly, the combat is pretty wild. You'll be fighting enemies like goblins and slimes while constantly powering up your character through a weapon swapping system. From melee weapons like swords to ranged attacks like bows and even magic. You can also discover powerful explosive power-up combinations to take down your enemies. And don't worry, the players here share gold, so there's no need to fight over it. Everyone still gets their own wallet to spend however they want. And if one of your friends is having a bit of a skill issue and keeps dying, don't worry, you can revive them once it's safe. And in my opinion, this demo already has a pretty decent level of quality to play. It's super fun to play. Of course, you can expect more content, like additional gameplay, new weapons, new upgrades, new characters, new permanent progression, and definitely some weird stuff. And since co-op roguelike action games like this are pretty rare out there, this game feels super fresh and a must try. So what are you waiting for? Try the demo now, and don't forget to wishlist the game by clicking my link in the description below to experience this fun co-op action roguelike that will blow your mind. Alright then, let's get back into the list. Warden Will is a third-person shooter that blends the mechanical precision of Risk of Rain with the sleek agility of Warframe, distilling the essence of both into a tight, satisfying experience that rewards skill, timing, and teamwork. Players must effectively combine a gun's primary and alternate fire with a Warden's unique abilities while managing their stamina and the gun temperature. And if you think the game is fun solo, wait until you team up with friends. Warden's Will supports up to 4-player online co-op, and it's an absolute blast coordinating abilities, combining firepower and reviving each other mid-battle. GODBREAKERS is a fast-paced hack-and-slash game with a roguelike twist. You'll travel across 3 different planets, each with its own enemies, atmosphere, and combat style, before facing the final boss called the Monad. Progression revolves around 2 main systems, Essence and Gear. Essence gives you gradual stat boost over time, while Gear completely defines how your character fights. The highlight is the Godbreak mechanic, which lets you execute weakened enemies. When you do, you absorb their powers and make your build even stronger. You can play solo, but the co-op mode is where it truly shines. Coordinating abilities, sharing loot, and chaining god breaks with friends turns every battle into delightful chaos. SYNTHETIK Legion Rising is a top-down shooter where you play as an ancient android inside the headquarters of a giant robot company, Kada Corporation. Their AI army, the Machine Legion, wants to wipe out humans, and it's your job to stop them. This game isn't your usual run and gun. How you move really matters. Standing still makes aiming easier but leaves you open. Moving makes you harder to hit but messes with your aim. There are 94 weapons with lots of variants and attachments, plus 8 different classes like Sniper, Engineer, and Riot Guard. Each has unique abilities. And if you've got a friend to play with, the co-op mode is where things get next level. Teamwork feels really rewarding, like you and your buddy are choreographing your own little bullet symphony. Stormlancers is a 2D roguelite platformer game that combines thrilling action where you play as a lone warrior revived by mystical spirits on a strange planet tasked with saving their world. The story is light and keeping the focus on fast, skillful combat and rewarding progression. Gameplay-wise, comparisons to Dead Cells are inevitable, given the shared DNA and fast-paced combat and roguelike structure. And yeah, comparisons to Dead Cells are pretty much guaranteed. Both share that same fast-paced, roguelite DNA, but Stormlancers Lancer still feels fresh in its own way, keeping the action intense and the progression super satisfying. Immortals is one of the most exciting indie co-op games of the year. It takes the energy of an MMO raid and crams it into a roguelite action game where 33 players fight together in absolute chaos. You and 32 strangers have to work as one to survive, heal, and take down massive bosses that fill the screen with danger. The game features 4 main weapons: sword, bow, daggers, and staff, each offering a unique way to play. Every fight feels fair and skill-based, where your survival depends on smart movement and quick reactions. Yeah, the game delivers chaotic and deeply satisfying co-op experience that rewards teamwork without ever needing words.
Face your foes and claim victory. 33 strong. Rebels against...
Vellum is a roguelite arena shooter that takes a creative twist on the genre. Instead of blasting aliens or demons, you're fixing corrupted manuscripts with enchanted ink. You play as a magical scribe, diving into corrupted story fragments filled with aggressive errors that attack in waves. Each run begins in your hub world, where you pick an ink color, each with its own spells and movement options. The core loop is fast and fluid, battles are quick, filled with satisfying spell impacts and flashy particle effects. The ink attacks hit hard and movement feels smooth. You're always dodging, strafing, and thinking about your next move before the screen fills up with corrupted text monsters. .30X masterfully combines the tight, precise run-and-gun action of the classic Mega Man X series with the addictive just one more run structure of a modern roguelike. You will play as Nina or Ace, who are clear and loving homages to X and Zero, and the battle through a series of randomly generated stages. The heart of 30XX lies in its deep and rewarding upgrade system. As you progress through a run, you'll collect a vast array of power-ups. Furthermore, you can tackle the entire adventure in local or online co-op, and there's a robust level editor with a library of community-created stages to explore that, giving the game near infinite replayability. Splintered Fate is a roguelite action brawler that mixes the chaos of TMNT combat with the addictive loop of Hades. Splinter is kidnapped, leaving the 4 brothers to fight through wave after wave of enemies to rescue him. Inspired by the Hades formula, the game lets you die, grow stronger, and dive back into another run to push the story forward. Playing solo or with friends in co-op mode is a blast, as every encounter feels fast, fluid, and satisfying. Between runs, players can upgrade abilities using Dragon Coins and Dreamer Coins, creating a steady sense of progression that encourages experimentation with new builds and tactics. Orcs must die. Deathtrap takes the beloved action tower defense formula and shakes it up with a roguelite progression, co-op, mayhem, and a mountain of modifiers that'll either make you cheer or cry depending on your luck. As the 5th entry in the series, it's familiar yet daring, putting players through random stages filled with brutal surprises, unpredictable upgrades, and the same orc mulching satisfaction fans have loved for years. Trap variety remains fantastic. Flamethrowers, arrow walls, tar pits, saw blades, ice turrets, and new additions like harpoon launchers all return in satisfying fashion. Combining them into efficient kill zones still feels amazing, especially when you pull off massive combo chains that supercharge your abilities. Gatekeeper is one of those games that immediately grabs your attention with its fast-paced combat and stylish presentation. This roguelike throws you into a cosmic battle to recover the stolen heart of time from chaos. You'll pick from a roster of unique characters, each with their own stats and abilities, and dive straight into chaotic missions. At its core, Gatekeeper nails that addictive roguelike loop. You enter a mission, blast through hordes, grab upgrades, and fight bosses before returning to your hub to tweak your build. It's a fun, fast-paced roguelike that balances accessibility with depth, making it a great pick for both newcomers and veterans of the genre. Ember Knights is one of those rare roguelike action games that feels just as good to play solo as it does with friends. This 4-player co-op adventure mixes the chaotic fun of Castle Crashers with the dungeon-crawling spirit of Gauntlet. You play as an Ember Knight, one of the last heroes standing against the evil sorcerer Praxis, who seeks to corrupt the universe itself. Across 5 challenging worlds, you'll fight through waves of enemies, gather loot, and restore the lost Ember to save reality. Spelunky 2 keeps the foundation of what made the first game a roguelike classic, challenging 2D platforming, randomized levels, and that oh-so-satisfying cycle of dying, learning, and diving right back in. You'll still grab your whip bombs and ropes to make your way through dangerous caves, but this time, the action takes place on the moon, where you play as the daughter of the original Spelunky explorers. While Spelunky has always been a perfect solo experience, multiplayer adds a new dimension. You can team up with friends locally or online, and even if someone dies, they can return as a helpful ghost to assist the team. It may be tough as nails, but that's exactly why it's so addictive. Astral Ascent is 2D action roguelike, delivers fluid combat, gorgeous pixel art, and a satisfying sense of progression that keeps you hooked for run after run. Set in a mystical realm known as the Garden, the game follows Ayla and a cast of colorful characters as they battle 12 powerful Zodiac-themed guardians in a bid for freedom. Gameplay-wise, Astral Ascent nails that perfect blend of precision and flow. Movement is fast and responsive, with a dash that feels buttery smooth and incredibly useful for dodging deadly attacks. Combat revolves around chaining melee strikes, managing mana, and cycling through 4 spells in a fixed order, forcing you to think strategically about what's coming next. Barony is a 3D first-person pixel art roguelike dungeon crawler that feels like a mix between Minecraft and the classic dungeon crawler. Players choose from multiple classes, each with unique stats, skills, and starting gear, giving different playstyles each a run. Appraising items is crucial, as most gear is unidentified and some may be cursed. Combat relies heavily on blocking and careful movement, as shields are often necessary for survival. It's an indie game that can be played solo or with friends, though the latter might be a challenge since the online community isn't very active these days.
I set them to see how...
Ship of Fools is a delightful roguelite that drops you into a chaotic, monster-infested archipelago where strategy and a dash of madness are your best allies. You play as the Storm Strider, navigating hexagonal map tiles while fending off waves of bizarre sea creatures during the relentless aqua apocalypse. Each run is fresh, but upgrades and unlocks carry over, giving a satisfying sense of progression. Each ship has 2 cannons that can be repositioned to defend both sides, with solo players managing one while the other fires on autopilot. Strategic decision-making is constantly tested as you choose between loot, repairs, or avoiding the encroaching storm.
I guess we'll find out who's the greatest of fools.
You're in the gear away.
GUNTOUCHABLES. It's an isometric, post-apocalyptic co-op shooter, where up to 4 players take on swarms of creepy mutant bugs and chaotic missions. The game kicks off with short missions where you gather resources, complete objectives, and then rush back to your dropship before things go horribly wrong. If you're missing teammates, AI bots will fill the squad, but trust me, this game truly shines when played with friends. Ammo and health are always scarce, forcing everyone to think fast and share supplies to stay alive. The gameplay loop is simple but addictive, with every fight balancing panic, teamwork, and laughter.
I love the way this dynamic.
Abyssus is a fast-paced, co-op, roguelike FPS that delivers an engaging and satisfying gameplay loop for fans of the genre. Think of it in the same vein as Gunfire Reborn or Roboquest. Fast-paced action, high-stakes dodging, and satisfying gunplay. Where Abyssus really shines is in its upgrade system. Temporary upgrades provide immediate boosts during a run, often modifying your weapons or abilities in fun ways. Permanent upgrades give a sense of long-term progression, enhancing stats like damage, reload speed, and health, or even modifying the dungeon with helpful interactables like healing shrines. Heroes of Hammerwatch 2 delivers a surprisingly deep and engaging roguelite RPG experience, blending dungeon crawling, town building, and character progression into a highly addictive package. The gameplay loop revolves around exploring randomly generated dungeons, collecting power-ups and trinkets, and upgrading your town with the resources gathered along the way. Buildings like the blacksmith and hunter's cabin give a sense of tangible progression, making each run feel meaningful even if you meet a brutal permadeath. The ability to respect your character's skills at any point also ensures that mistakes aren't permanent, which is a welcome touch for newcomers and veterans alike. Shape of Dreams. It's another twin-stick roguelike in an ocean of them, but it manages to stand out where it counts. Gameplay. The premise is simple: dive into a dreamscape full of monsters, dodge their attacks, and blast everything that moves. The real magic of Shape of Dreams lies in its power-up system. Every run showers you with new skills to experiment with, and the way you assign them to your shoulder buttons gives a ton of flexibility. Yep, the game doesn't rely on gimmicks. It's just pure, refined fun with a gameplay loop that keeps you hooked. Each run feels rewarding, every upgrade matters, and the constant flow of unlocks ensures there's always something new to chase. Absolum is beat-em-up games with roguelike elements, yup. And if you like beat-em-up games, you gotta like this one. This game is very special. Combat is fast, technical, and satisfying, rewarding well-timed dodges, parries, and creative combos. Instead of button mashing, you'll need precision and awareness to manage crowds of enemies effectively. Then there are the rituals, magical upgrades that completely change how you fight. You can dash through enemies in flames, call down lightning, plant thorn traps, or summon tornadoes. Mixing these powers to create new combos feels amazing, and the game keeps giving you fresh options to try every run. Deadzone Rogue is a first-person roguelike shooter that throws you headfirst into a mysterious derelict ship somewhere in the void of space. You wake up with no memory of who you are or how you got there. And from the first step, it's clear that survival won't be easy. The adventure begins in your ship's cockpit, which serves as the central hub between missions. This is where you'll plan your strategy, upgrade your character's stats and trinkets, and manage your missions across multiple zones. And if you'd rather not go it alone, co-op mode lets you dive into the chaos with a friend, making the experience even more intense and unpredictable. If you're the kind of player who loves side-scrolling games and good challenge, Vagante might just become your next obsession. This indie roguelike blends the action, exploration, and RPG depth into one beautifully crafted adventure. Every run sends you into a randomly generated dungeon full of monsters, traps, and treasures waiting to be discovered. You'll constantly improve through experimentation, learning the best ways to survive and make use of what the game throws at you. You can also play solo or team up with up to 4 players in local or online co-op, making it just as fun with friends as it is on your own. Another first-person roguelike shooter is Roboquest. This fast-paced roguelite FPS delivers non-stop action, stylish visuals, and a massive arsenal of weapons that keep every run feeling fresh. At its core, Roboquest splits its gameplay between chaotic combat runs and your ever-evolving base camp. The gunplay is the star here. Every weapon feels distinct, snappy, and satisfying. On top of that, a mastery system encourages you to experiment, granting progress and unlocks as you use different weapons. Combine this with unique character classes, each with their own abilities and upgrade trees. And yeah, Roboquest gives you endless ways to tweak your playstyle. Returnal is sci-fi roguelike, combines stunning visuals, lightning-fast combat, and a haunting mystery that unfolds with every death and rebirth. You play as Celine Vassos, an astronaut, stranded on the alien planet Atropos while chasing a signal called White Shadow. She's stuck in a time loop, forced to relive her own death again and again. The game's bullet-hell combat shines thanks to precise controls and adrenaline-pumping action, rewarding flawless play with powerful boosts. Progress can feel punishing, but updates like co-op mode and safe suspensions make it more accessible without dulling the challenge. Its surreal storytelling and eerie atmosphere keep you hooked, even as mysteries deepen. Risk of Rain returns. It's a wild, filled with alien mayhem, endless replayability, and that signature feeling of chaos that defines the series. Coming from Risk of Rain 2, it's fascinating to see how well the action translates back into 2D. Every run feels like a thrilling mix of exploration and survival with an ever-shifting balance between risk and reward. You'll move from stage to stage, hunting down teleporters, fighting bosses, and collecting stacks of wild power-ups that can completely transform how you play. And if you're going to play with friends, the co-op in Risk of Rain Returns is very much worth diving into. Endless Dungeon is twin-stick shooter tower defense roguelite all rolled into one slick sci-fi package, and somehow it nails every part of that mix. Set aboard a mysterious decaying space station once ruled by an ancient race known as the Endless, you and a crew of heroes must fight your way through floor after floor of monsters to reach the station's core. The tower defense mechanics give Endless Dungeon its own strategic heartbeat. You can build turrets on specific nodes using the industry resource, and managing your economy becomes just as important as your aim. While the solo experience is strong, the co-op mode is more fun. Coordinating turret placements, covering choke points, and escorting the bot under pressure is thrilling with friends. If you've ever wished Hades had co-op, Sworn might just be the game for you. This Arthurian action roguelite from Windwalk Games wears its influences on its sleeve. There's no denying it follows the Hades formula closely, but it also brings its own unique charm to the table, especially for those who want to tackle the chaos with friends. Combat is tight and strategic, though slightly slower than Hades, with the enemies that demand attention and boss fights pulled straight from Arthurian lore. The real standout, however, is the 4-player co-op, which adds a fresh layer of strategy and fun that Hades has never offered. If you've played Vampire Survivors, you'll feel right at home here. Brotato takes that same survive the waves formula, but turns it up with faster pacing, deeper build variety, and a charming cartoon style straight out of The Binding of Isaac. And if you don't know, the game has a massive free co-op update and a feature-packed DLC, both adding tons of reasons to jump back into the chaos. You get 14 new characters, 16 fresh weapons, 30 plus new items, and an all-new map featuring 20 waves of mayhem. Even better, the free co-op update now lets up to 4 players team up. It's absolute madness fun, friends yelling, screens filled with explosions, and potatoes everywhere. BlazBlue Entropy effect takes the high-speed, flashy combat the series is known for and drops it into a completely new world. At its core, BlazBlue Entropy effect is a fast-paced, 2D action roguelike. Each run has you diving into a digital training world, battling through stages filled with enemies, upgrades, and choices that shape your build. The addition of online co-op is a huge plus. 2 players can tackle runs together, each building their own setups and complementing each other's abilities. It makes the already fast-paced action even more chaotic and fun, and you can ramp up the difficulty for greater rewards. Ravenswatch is a dark fantasy roguelike, takes inspiration from classic fables, mixing them into a thrilling, stylish action experience that shines brightest when shared with friends. The game's biggest strength lies in its diverse roster of 9 heroes, each reimagined from beloved tales. Each hero offers unique playstyles, and unlocking their diary pages adds depth to their backstories. It's not just about power, it's about discovering the legends behind the mask. The flow of combat feels incredibly rewarding. Powerful combos, flashy ultimates, and dynamic enemy encounters keep the energy high. Once you find your rhythm with your favorite hero, I bet you will love this one. Streets of Rogue is top-down action roguelite delivers wild freedom, endless replayability, and a sense of humor that never quits. It's the kind of game that lets you be anyone, do anything, and blow everything up, all in the name of saving a city from corruption. You pick from over 24 playable characters, each with their own abilities, playstyles, and personalities. While Streets of Rogue is great solo, it's an absolute blast with friends. Up to 4 players can join forces in the most ridiculous ways imaginable. This unpredictable multiplayer energy makes it a perfect pick for game nights or short bursts of fun. Runs typically last an hour or 2, so it's easy to jump in, cause some chaos, and laugh about the aftermath. Children of Morta is a beautifully crafted action roguelite that takes a familiar genre and infuses it with something rare: heart. This game isn't just about battling monsters or clearing dungeons, it's about the bond of a family standing united against an encroaching darkness. What makes Children of Morta stand apart is its soul. Many roguelites focus on grind and challenge, but this one never loses sight of its theme: family. Each victory feels shared, every loss stings together, and every moment back at home adds meaning to your progress. You can even play with a friend or family, thanks to local co-op, which makes the whole family-friendly thing even stronger. Wizard of Legend is a fast-paced, spell-slinging dungeon crawler that's all about skill, timing, and magical mastery. You begin your journey inside a museum dedicated to the history of magic, where you learn about the mystical arcana, the spells that define every wizard's combat style. This co-op indie gem captures the thrill of action-packed combat while delivering endless replayability through procedural generation and over 100 unique spells to discover. Its blend of speed, style, and strategy makes it one of the standout indie dungeon crawlers of its generation. If you love this game, you can also play Wizard of Legend 2, but don't expect too much with the sequel. Gunfire Reborn is a fantastic blend of roguelike progression, satisfying gunplay, and engaging co-op action, with every run offering new weapons, upgrades, and surprises. Yeah, who don't know about this roguelike? Teamwork is where Gunfire Reborn shines. Up to 4 players can take on the adventure together, sharing loot, dropping weapons for allies, and reviving one another in battle. The action gets wild when everyone's abilities and elemental effects start chaining together, turning combat arenas into colorful explosions of chaos. Even though there's no dedicated trading system, the ability to drop weapons for friends keeps the experience fun and collaborative. Vampire Survivors is known for its chaotic, fast-paced gameplay. It's a pixel storm of enemies, loot, and flashing lights. The new co-op mode lets up to 4 players share a single screen as they battle endless waves of enemies. This change instantly shifts the dynamic when instead of rushing around alone, you and your teammate have to move carefully and communicate constantly to stay alive. Each player has a limited number of weapon slots, 4 instead of 6 in solo play, so teamwork is super important. You can't become unstoppable on your own these days. You have to build complementary arsenals and protect each other. It encourages coordination and strategy, making every decision feel more important. Enter the Gungeon is a wild top-down bullet-hell dungeon crawler that takes the best parts of roguelikes and wraps them in a storm of bullets, explosions, and charm. Yeah, every room is a mini-action movie, bullets coming at you from every angle, explosions lighting up the floor, and you're there diving, rolling, and flipping tables like a caffeine-fueled stunt double in a John Wick movie. And then you throw in co-op. You and your friend jump in together, talk to the purple-robed guy in the hub, and suddenly it's double the bullets, double the chaos, and double the screaming. You'll laugh, you'll panic, you'll definitely blame each other for dying, but you'll also pull off some insane saves that make you feel like action heroes. Elden Ring Night Rain is a co-op roguelike action RPG spin-off of Elden Ring featuring fast-paced, 3-player cooperative gameplay. Basically, you're playing in a trio, racing against a shrinking map, grabbing loot, and defacing bosses with your friends instead of wandering solo. It's a mashup that actually works better than you'd think. Playing solo? Technically possible, but man, it's brutal. The game really shines in a trio. You need that teamwork for strategy, revives, and just not getting crushed. The loop is clever. Farm weapons and runes during the day, fight mini-bosses as the night closes in, and eventually face the big Night Lord. Cult of the Lamb is a wild mix of roguelite action, camp management, and quirky humor. You're basically a cult leader, and your job is to gather followers to build your little cult camp and spread your influence. The game lets you run rituals, teach dark lessons, or throw wild all-night drinking ceremonies. Missions take you into randomized dungeons where you fight enemies, collect loot, and gain weapons and magical cards. Combat is fun, rewarding, and forgiving enough to let you experiment. Each dungeon run is different, so no 2 adventures feel the same. The art style is bright, colorful, and full of personality, while the music is super catchy. Risk of Rain 2 is a third-person roguelike shooter, and it's all about building momentum. The longer you play, the more intense it gets. There are no lulls. The main goal stays simple: find the teleporter, defeat the boss, and move on before the difficulty skyrockets. Time is your enemy, and every second makes the monster stronger. The game nails that roguelike feeling of progression, where failure only makes you want to jump back in. Co-op makes it even better, turning the chaos into a team effort full of explosions and laughter. Each survivor has a unique playstyle. Yup, if you love game like this, you must unlock all the characters, and is so satisfying. The Binding of Isaac Rebirth, that 2011 game where a little kid dives into a crazy, messed up underworld full of monsters, weird upgrades, and some seriously twisted stuff. The core of the game hasn't changed. You're still guiding Isaac through a hellish labyrinth, taking out monsters with his tears, and collecting a wild variety of items that can totally flip your run on its head. It's addictive. Once you start, you're playing just one more run for hours without noticing. Co-op in Rebirth lets a friend jump in as a baby sidekick, adding extra firepower and chaos to Isaac's crazy runs. It turns every unpredictable enemy encounter into a hilarious or insane shared adventure, making the game even more fun with a buddy. And that's it for today. Those were lists the top 40 co-op action roguelike that you can play right now. Got a hidden gem I didn't mention? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video or discovered a new title to add to your collection, feel free to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you'll never miss future content. And one more time, don't forget to go wishlist the game LORT, the link in the description, okay? So, thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.